Hey guys, hope everybody is doing well. Sorry I'm a little late today. I was having trouble with my video and it is looking like it is not going to work today. So I apologize about that and but I will get that taken care of tomorrow. It's weird how some days these these things want to work and some days they don't. So, what are you gonna do about it, right? So, hope everybody's doing good today. We've got a lot of information kind of to go over, um, and the markets are kind of crazy. So, it's you saw yesterday, the market sold off, and so we had a very similar situation today in regards to the market. Just the fact is that we are it's playing off of the same type of mechanism. There really is no real buyers stepping in at these levels until we at least get down into the lows of yesterday, which is around the 1229 on Ethereum, as well as at the lows of 18 388 to about 18,233 area. So we're seeing it pretty much follow 5 and 15 minute um, trending mechanisms that you would currently have. So we'll see it if it continues, but it's one of those things that we are playing off of, and we'll see where it wants to go. But as of right now, we're seeing it put in lower highs and lower lows and continuing down. So be ready for that. Now let's go ahead and go into the cryptos market real quick, where I'm just going to go over some of the stuff, and we will go into a couple other things. One second. While this is pulling up, let's pull up the disclaimer. This is no investment advice. The information provided on this video and website and live stream does not constitute as investment advice, financial advice, trading advice, or any other sort of advice, and should not treat any of the videos and website content as such. I, Moonrock Coin, Ninja Lounge, co-hosts and guests do not recommend that any cryptocurrency or any other assets that are mentioned should be bought, sold, or held by the viewer or listener. Do conduct your own due diligence and consult your financial advisor before making any investment decisions. I am not a financial advisor, and this content is only meant for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a tax professional on any gains or losses as a result of investing into crypto or any other assets invested in or any other assets invested in. This is not financial advice, but this is for entertainment and social educational purposes only. Thank you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me go ahead and I need to share this here real quick. So I hope everybody's doing well today. I know that we've had some pretty crazy situations going on right now, just with the world, especially with Putin kind of really fighting. Last night I just saw the um, what was it? The Arnold Schwarzenegger's video, which was pretty interesting. I had a friend of mine who asked me to share it. So I trust the guy, so I shared it. But it's very interesting because he to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger really plead with the Russian president and really just say, and also the people and everything. It was really kind of an eye awakening situation to sit there and see how much it was just simply for um, just a man trying to fill his ego and show the world that he can take over. It's just weird. It's just really weird. It's this time period that we're sitting in. You know. So one of the things I want to bring up here real quick, as well as I'm going to go into the crypto prices here in a minute. When I do, if you guys have any questions and concerns with it, you want to ask me, please don't hesitate. I would love for you guys to come in and um, ask me questions or anything of that nature. Also, I have a few other things that I'm doing here. You guys could check out. I'm actually starting to connect and do morning kind of recaps within Moonrock Coin Telegram as well as Ninja Lounge Telegram. So if you guys want to go through, fine, I'll post their links. But I do a quick little morning overview of which way the market might be wanting to go. I even might be doing a live personal where you guys can ask me questions and kind of go from there. But all I ask is that you guys just be cool. Like I know that there can be some major. I had a guy personally was trolling me last night, and I was kind of cracking up because I was just like, well, are you somebody without somebody trolling you? So it's one of those things that I feel like I feel like maybe I hit a monumental moment, and you know, so we'll see what happens. And but I'm gonna promotion. So yeah, let's go ahead and just jump right into the stuff that we're kind of going into right now. So let's check out the crypto world. So the market cap overall in crypto is 918 million people, or excuse me, not 918 billion dollars market cap here within crypto. Bitcoin is sitting at 18,000, 19,000, hovering in this area here. It is down 1.4% for the day. Ethereum is sitting at 1,266, and we are down 5%, almost 5.3% for the day. BNB is sitting at 267, sitting at 0.10% up for the day. XRP right here, which they're really moving in with a lot of the stuff that's going on with the court case. 0.43 cents, sitting at 10% up for the day. Cardano sitting at 44 cents, 0.63 up for the day. It's about 0.5% up, or a little bit more than 0.5%. Solana sitting at $31, 31.74, and it is 1.5% up for the day. Dogecoin sitting at 5 cents, and it is up 0.77% for the day. Polkadot is at 634, and it is sitting at 0.67 up for the day. Matic is sitting at 0.73 or 73 cents, and it is up 0.19% for the day. Shiba Inu is sitting at 0.00010 or 1068, and it is up 1.19 or 1.19% up for the day. So that's it in a nutshell, guys. We've got the markets kind of moving here. I think one of the things that we're seeing as well, and I find this really interesting, is that the markets are really following the Fed and everything. We saw them sell off of the Fed, and they're really trading a lot like the institutions. So when I see institutional stuff coming up, and many of you guys know, I think I've played on here a few times what's actually going on, right? Like I've shown you guys the Jim Cramer video. I've also brought up certain news reports that basically talk about insider trading within Wall Street and how they play the game, right? They basically need people to sell off against so that they can either get off their position or get their position on. So for them to get their position on, they typically bring in bad news, right? Or they just drop the market by creating little FUD here and there. FUD, if to those who don't understand what that is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's the acronym for fear, uncertainty, and doubt, FUD. And so what happens is they create FUD within the actual, within the world. They call up their friends at CNBC. They call their friends up at Fox. And also, I know you think those two guys are juxtaposed to each other and don't like each other, but they actually all play for the same guy or for the same guys. So putting out news so that they can cause financial markets to go up and to go down based off which way they want or the way they need to get out of their positions or getting into their positions. So with that said, I'm going to bring up some of the news today, because some of the news, I want to point that out, what we're seeing in the market. And then in that, you can definitely gauge what is actually happening. So it's just, I want to bring this up because the reality is like they're basically messing with people. And so I want the people who listen here least understand what's actually going on in the market, what's actually being played. So um, I want to also bring up the fact, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, because what I'm going to say here is in regards to the news, it's going to be very backwards, right? You're going to sit there and go, wait, what? But this is how they play. They create a false reality to the financial system. I bring this up because to them, the fundamentals a lot of times don't really matter in the short term. They're there. They're trying to get money to come in. They want to put money in their pockets, and they want to buy that new house, that new Ferrari, or whatever it is they're looking to do. So they need to they need to manipulate the markets to go in the direction that they needed to go into in that aspect. So this is what we're going to go into here real quick, or to get in at a very low point. So the first article I wanted to talk about real quick is the Jamie Dimon. Basically, he attacks cryptocurrency, and he's basically saying it's a big Ponzi scheme. But the reality is this: is that last year they started offering, Bitcoin um, to their clients, right? And so when that happens, they have to go out there, and they have to. I believe they have to buy in at the open market, buy it, and then allow their people to trade in, act as a broker between it. So it's an interesting thing to sit there and see what they're doing. Also, in the same sense, they're going in and they're loading up. So if he is talking really negative, right, against something, and they can push it down because there's not a lot of regulations within crypto. They can go through and they can talk as much as they want right now against certain things and really push the markets down. So he has a lot of clout and influence in the world. Jamie Dimon is the why am I forgetting? JP Morgan CEO. And so he's very influential. JP Morgan is one of the largest houses on the street, and so he's got a lot of influence. So for him to be poo-pooing makes me realize that there's probably an alternative motive for him to really push it down. I feel like they're trying to get more at a lower level. He does say later on in some of the criticism that that metaverse and that blockchain is a worthwhile technology, and that we're going to see a lot of business to business connection happening there. But the actual cryptocurrency, he has a negative connotation. So it's almost like he's playing a little here. So it's just really interesting to see what he's actually doing there. I feel as if he is criticizing it to push it down further so that their institution can get in at a lower rate, and i.e., a lot of the institutions get in at a lower rate as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how far they're going to push Bitcoin down. And along with that, the JP Morgan sees, and this is another one off of CoinDesk. The previous one I put in the comment section. You can check out a lot of the news feeds that I was talking about. It's actual crypto news that basically talks about Jamie Dimon talking about crypto. So the other thing I want to bring up as well, and this kind of correlates with that, talks about JP Morgan sees concerns for Ethereum blockchain after the merge. Again, trying to push down and like, again, I have no problem with this. It's just how the game is played. They use news sources to push down a market so that they can get in and purchase at a lower level. And so they basically go on to say that there's been a fork put into the actual ecosystem of Ethereum, and that you have your proof of work and your proof of stake people kind of diverging, and so you're going to see a difference within coins, and just kind of split in the community, which I don't think that it really will be. I mean, we saw already Ethereum fork, and the current Ethereum still held strong, and a lot of people still loved it. We saw that thing rally all the way up to 5,000 or almost 5,000. So it's just simply, I think they know that, wow, they just went to proof of stake. We also saw earlier that during the merge, prior to I was early or mid June or July where we started seeing the rally come in prior merge. So I feel like they were getting they were getting people to buy. So right now, as getting people to buy, they're offloading, right? Their shorts that they were doing as Ethereum was dropping. And then you saw the rally up into it. And now they're just reestablishing their shorts as people are selling in. And so they're going to push the market down into a low level so that they can buy. So at that moment in time, you'll see them just screaming horrible things from this moment on about Ethereum, and a lot of the major news outlets will just forget the fact that they basically had a 0.2% drop on the world's electrical use, literally overnight. So it's just an interesting thing to see what we're seeing here in the market. In additionally to that, and this is actually for me something that I find very interesting. Bernstein, the Arbitrum, that they're basically they're coming out with or they are a blockchain. They're among the leading blockchain developers and stuff, and so they're actually going to be coming out with supposedly a token, and so that's going to be really cool. It's something that they've messed with the NFT gaming systems and how to play with it. They just do a lot of stuff, right? But basically, they're the layer 2 blockchain are providing the proof of concept that a rollup works while relying on the security settlement network of Ethereum. So basically, they want to take note that this retains the relevance of Ethereum and makes it competitive versus peers. The note added, Arbitrum recently paid around 400 Ether people that hack the vulnerabilities of the upgrade of the device of the rollup for the actual for their system. But the main thing that I want to bring up here, I know that just sounds like a jumble craziness, but the biggest thing that I want to bring up here is just the fact is that they're coming out with a coin, and they're a pretty solid company. They're a big deal. So if they do, be paying attention to them because they're going to be moving things around, and that's just, I think it'd be a quick way for you just to get up in it. The other thing I want to bring up as well is the Fed. So again, this is what's so interesting. We all knew that the Fed was going to be pushing the market up, right? We all knew it. Like it wasn't anything shocking. It wasn't something that we didn't know what was going to happen. But what I find interesting is that they went through. But what I find interesting is that they people still got scared and sold off, right? Which I don't even understand. I mean, again, it doesn't make sense, right? If everybody knew what was happening, right, then how is it that they that the people got scared and sold, right? So for me, it makes no sense to me. Yes, we all knew it, we all, but yet we didn't see, we didn't see anything. I don't understand why you had a huge sell off if the market is efficient, unless it's not efficient. So to those who understand what I'm saying, basically a um, there's a school of thought that says that the market always prices in movements in the market, meaning for the up and down movement, the market knows about it, and so it's already priced in. But if it's already priced in, then why did we see a sell off into the day, right, of yesterday? So it's another thing that I look at. Um, just to point out again, we're seeing this come down. Ethereum, I do see is coming back down into the lows right here, and just basically continuing until we probably hit that 50 period moving average, and then see if institutions really give it a chop up, where we might see another. It might even be another higher high. So we'll see what happens, or not a higher high, but a higher high from here, not a higher high from up here. So we'll find out what happens there. But it's really interesting to see which way they're taking the market. Now, there is a company called, it's not even a company. They're basically like an organization called the Chamber of Digital Commerce. They're basically bringing up the fact during the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit that they want to come in and talk and communicate about what is actually happening with XRP and whether they are security or non-security and how it's all being set up. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I want to read this part right here. This is 5 minutes. The SEC has requested the court granting additional time. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so here we go. This is basically what they're saying. So while explaining the CDC, which is basically the Chamber of Digital Commerce, while explaining its interest in the case, the CDC legal team emphasizes the far-reaching consequences of the court decisions, namely whether the law application, whether the laws applicable to the security transaction is properly distinguished from the one application to a secondary transaction. So it's just pretty cool. I think they're going to be for our side, but it is. We'll see what happens. The case was opened in 2020 when this SEC alleged that Ripple and its executive Brad Garlinghouse and Christian Larson sold Ripple as unregistered securities worth over 1.38 billion. The outcome of this case could determine whether XRP is a security. If the judge rules in favor of the SEC, it could be the precedence the commission needs to pursue legal action against other crypto projects that sold tokens similar to XRP. So it's gonna be really interesting. But like I'm really wondering if the CDC, when they come in and start talking, are they gonna back us or are they gonna kind of bash us and say, nah, we are security? So we'll find out what happens there. In addition to that, let me bring this up here as well. Speaking of cryptocurrency stuff here, the interest. If you are Muslim, there is a halal approved crypto products that you can, if you're interested in. And I'm going to read this here real quick. It's actually really interesting. I actually didn't know about this, so I actually thought this is actually pretty dope. It's an organization that basically makes sure that if you're following Sharia, which is basically the law, like Jewish people follow Torah, right, which means the law. It's a certain way, or us, like if you say you follow the American law, but it's theirs is more of a religious law. The religious law and the legal law kind of correlate with one to another. And side note with that, right now in Iran, which follows Sharia, there's a lot of rioting going on in regards to a lot of just the way women are treated there, and a lot of men out there. Basically, according to some of the legal, and it's all about interpretation with this, right? Because in some Muslim countries, women just don't have to wear the head covering, whereas other ones they can. It's kind of optional. They do want them, so it's just really interesting to see how it's interpreted, and in the way they interpret it, right? But I bring this up because what I find more interesting than anything, right, is that oh wow, that's a new one. Watcher Guru just gave another one here. That's actually pretty dope. Um, Russia approves the use of Bitcoin and crypto cross-border payments. Wow, that's nuts. We talked about that earlier. I think it was last week or this week, how they created the blockchain and how they're going to allow for cross-border payments. So it did happen. They are doing it. That's interesting. We'll see what happens there. Coinbase granted regulation approval for Russia, and as well as in the Netherlands. That's really crazy. Okay, so sorry about that. Let's go ahead and jump back in here with what's going on in Iran. So Iran, it's really interesting because you have the rial that's coming in, and it's going to digital currency, right? In addition to that, you're having a lot of uprising of basically the old guard versus the new guard saying, hey, stop treating our women so bad. We're tired of it. Stop it. And there's a lot of fighting going on, a lot of basically a lot of rights. There's a lot of rights, basically, that guys and women are mad that they're being accosted just for not wearing their head covering. So it's interesting to see what's happening there. But then to throw out that there's also new investments that you can get into within crypto, right? That is, and the firm is, and I'll read this part right here. One such DeFi firm is Marhaba DeFi, based out of Australia. The company has launched in 2020 with the goal of providing financial services adhering to Islamic law or Sharia. The firm has shown a sharp increase in halal approved crypto products on its platform. By the end of 2020, the company hopes to provide a number of new items that adhere to Islamic law. So there's already 40,000 people. Moreover, since its inception, the number of active users of the firm's non-custodial multi-chain Shahal wallet has increased to about 40,000. The wallet only needs to be downloaded, and it provides users with all halal approved crypto products. So that's really interesting to see what's going on. In addition, um, Marhaba DeFi founder and CEO Naqib Mohammed, while speaking to Cointelegraph, states people need a platform where they can trust every token they interact with. So we don't have to go hunting on different platforms, tapping into different Islamic scholars or experts, asking, "Can I invest in this protocol, this token, this token, or this strategy?" So it's really interesting to see what's actually happening there. Um, in addition to that, another thing I want to bring up is Utopia Krypton unlocks anonymous e-commerce payment at over 1,800 stores. So Utopia is basically, Utopia Krypton is basically a e-commerce provider, and they act as like a go-between with a bunch of exchange stores and exchanges, and they allow you to be able to exchange with their coin. A lot of these stores out there are using them. There's over 1,800 stores worldwide, which isn't a lot, but the fact is that it's growing as we speak. Whereas online e-commerce stores want to use um, their coin, and so I find that even more important. The fact is that the use of crypto is growing as we speak, and the adoption, as people know it to be, will grow even more so. The actual coin we're interested in is basically Krypton, and it's CRP, and the Utopian, and in their USD equivalent for what they do use as UUSD is what they use for their stable coin to be able to exchange the growing e-commerce industry that they've actually been building. So it's really interesting to see what's going on there. Um, Another one for Zilliqa basically launches Web3 game console in, in early 2023. So this is going to be crazy, absolutely crazy, simply because they are building an actual, a drive into the world of Web3 gaming with the launch of a hardware console and a gaming hub. So you'll be able to go into Web3, put your wallet in, be able to actually go through and basically get into what they're doing. It's absolutely crazy. Um, Zilliqa took the approach of hiding the complexity of creating the embedded Web3 wallet, which is they've created inside of the console, and the head of gaming technology at Zilliqa told Decrypt, um, Kleba, forgive me for destroying this word or your name, Kobela pointed to the example of NFT collections of NBA top shots at a benchmark to emulate. So basically, he was following NBA Top Shots to emulate how they set up their whole entire NFT system. Also, players will be able to earn Zilliqa, ZIL token through the completion of in-game skills to earn missions, tasks, and quests. In this case, the token can be regarded as similar to coins or rewards in traditional games, but with the added function of blockchain technology. Basically, I also say that by you going in and you're basically mining, right? It's gameplay mining, kind of like Axie Infinity, but there's this bit different, I guess, in some ways. Zilliqa, what which was found, which was found in 2017 and launched 2 years later on the mainnet, is a layer one smart contract blockchain. In recent months, it's aggressively pursued efforts to expand its influence in the gaming sphere, joining the Blockchain Gaming Alliance (BGA), Blockchain Gaming Alliance, in April this year, and forging partnerships with esports teams, Mad Lions, RQ, and more recently Allen Worlds and Xboard. So we're seeing them really make some major connections here, guys. That I feel like it might be smart to be checking them out, pay attention to them. Maybe start dollar cost averaging. This is another group here. I do have them here, and I was looking at them this morning. So actually was kind of blown away with their, they really don't have a lot of liquidity kind of coming in and out, at least what I was seeing based off the USD. Let's pull the UST here real quick, though. So UST. So you can see here, guys, that they're pretty decent, man. I mean, they follow the markets fairly well, or Bitcoin, obviously. But they're at a pretty decent low. And I was looking at them a little bit this morning. So don't necessarily quote me 100% on them. But I was looking at them, and it seemed as if they were fairly good. Now, the reason why I have the USDT here is simply because I could see more of where their lows are right here. With these guys, I do see this area here at the 1 cent mark. There, you could come through and play here and buy. So this area here looks like a pretty decent area. We are finding support here, but as you can see, we've already been hitting this. We've hit this twice, and we've put in some lower lows here on the monthly chart. Boom, boom, boom. Look, lower low. Like here was the initial, then it came down, rallied up from here, and now it's starting to just basically consolidate. And I do see it coming down to that lower level here of that the 1 cent and then the 0.0075 cent area here. So real interesting company they got going on here. So keep that on your thoughts and what you're looking at. Also, if we do start to rally, I want to point out you do have that monthly period, 50 period moving average here. So that here is a strong indication that if we do come up and hit that, it will most likely sell off. So don't get too excited thinking that, okay, you missed your chance. It is starting right here. So we'll find out again where this actually goes. And let me go ahead and put this in here real quick. Give you guys a supply area here. So yeah, look for this area here that we can see a nice little push in between where the moving average is sitting if they do start to rally. But I think the market is in this kind of a death spiral right now. So again, I think we're going to see lower lows before we see higher highs. So we'll find out what moves with that. But I just want to point out because they've got some really, really cool stuff, especially when it comes to the NFT and the metaverse stuff. How you'll be able to get into and play these games, shooter games. It's just going to be really dope see how this moves forward. I know that they have a little bit different system than what's the word I'm gonna look for? Than Axie Infinity. They do have a couple other different things. I think energy usage, it's different, as well as the type of things that they're using for the actual console. So it's gonna be really interesting to see where they come forward. Thanks, Pedro. Let's go. Thanks, Pedro. Let's go. Ah, my friend, I see you. I apologize. It is good to see you too, brother. Boom. Um, Now let's go ahead and jump right in. Also, this is another one I want to bring up. Um, Coinbase. So did Coinbase really basically do insider trading or not? Well, they're saying that they're not. And what I find interesting is they're really going out there and holding strong to this. So we'll see what happens. And they're coming out and giving proof, at least somewhat of proof, that look, our our inside mechanism that we have is actually set up in a way where we have a test net, we have certain couple other things that we use. And I mean, where is it at? Where is this at? Worth recalling. Here is that worth recalling here is that the exchange executives testified to the members of Congress last year that the company did not buy and sell crypto for its own account, per Wall Street Journal unnamed sources. Right after testifying, the team had gone into a transaction to test proprietary trading. Again, then they respond with earlier this year, the team completed a 100 million transaction that the group viewed as a test trade of the new efforts, according to the People. Per the report, Coinbase acknowledges that some of the companies examined pursue proprietary trading. However, they decided against it. And spokeswoman for the exchange said, "Our statement to Congress accurately reflects our accurate business activities. Coinbase does not and has never um, excuse me, and has never had a proprietary trading business. Any installation that we missed, any insinuation that we misled excuse me, forgive me for that. Any insinuation that we misled Congress is a willful misrepresentation of the fact." So this is all pretty much what they're saying here. Coinbase basically, at the very end says, a Coinbase risk solution was established to facilitate client-driven crypto transactions and conflict of interest mitigation tools and policies were in place in the group. So this is some of the stuff that they're saying, that they're going through. Now they are refuting the said allegations that the exchange was going through and doing insider trading. So we'll see what happens here as this continues. But I just want to bring that up, as well as Shiba Inu with Bone spikes 20%. Now, guys, be careful here with Bone, and the reason why I say that is not because I don't like Bone, right? I think Bone is a great, it's a great product, like a phenomenal product. Problem is right now, I bring this up, is that Bone is what? It's rallying hard, right? And so I want to bring this up here because I want to show you guys potentially where we could see this and come back down to, right? Like it's the hype. It's almost like the same hype that we saw going on with Shiba Inu, right? So these are just some of the areas that we could see come back down to and be paying attention to. So here, right here, where we have the previous highs for Bone, okay? And then, let me bring this up here. I'm going to change this out. And then also, so around this area, you could play either here or you could wait for this area here, right? So I bring both of them up here. Be paying attention. Um, and additionally to that, you also have that 8-period moving average on the monthly sitting right at these levels. I know we want to sit there and say this thing's going to go to the moon, which I've been in which I've had the mindset for other projects that I was in. But listen, it always retraces. Like 99% of the time it retraces. And this is just hype until other things come out. There are other projects that they're using that's coming out. So we could see a hype run within here for people to make money and then a sell off to get into other projects that Shiba Inu is doing. So make sure that you guys are mindful of this so that you guys don't get caught up buying the huge pushes as it pushes up, because I don't want to see you guys get hurt. So let me go ahead and there's another area here you guys be paying attention to. All right, so this here we'll see what happens. We'll place this here too as well. So these are just the monthly zones here, guys. I'm looking at the weekly. They're also weekly zones. As we pull this up. Actually, it's not that big. So yeah, these are just some of the areas that we can be looking for bone and its price projection. Again, we broke this 8-period moving average here, so be ready for it to might even continue down. As we see, if we go into the daily chart, you can see that we're actually starting to trend down already. Are we seeing any buyer wicks? Yeah, we're starting to see some. Okay, we aren't seeing a lot of seller wicks, which is good. So this might continue up, but I always think that it's going to come back down into the lower levels before it pushes up. Right? It's one of those things I'm always looking at. So be ready for that in these areas here. We can sit there and play from here. Definitely right here. Yep. Boom. Yeah, these are some good areas here. So this is where I'd be looking maybe to get in at these levels when bone comes back down to these levels. I know you guys, people who are in at the top here, don't want to see it coming back down to the 25-cent mark, but it's just more or less where I see it coming down to. We'll be really interested to see the sell-off once the new technologies come out. Also, Solana, um, it's interesting. So we know that Helium created their own blockchain, but they're now going over to Solana, which is really interesting to see. I myself, I am a holder of the bag of Helium. Well, not all of it, but obviously I have some. And so it's really interesting to see what they're doing here. I've heard that you are also going to be able to mine helium off the Solana phone that they have coming out. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. In addition to that, I almost feel like are they getting rid of fully the Helium network? The Helium community basically voted to migrate to the Solana network is a tremendous endorsement of Solana as the foundation for the next stage of the growth for the Helium ecosystem. So it's really weird. Now I'm going to read this next part of the. So will Solana help realize Helium's dream? Solana Sol has had its fair share of flack due to hacks and exploits that have often plagued its network. However, the project has nonetheless proven to be a worthy contender for many blockchains. So much so that FTX chief Sam Bankman-Fried once called the project as being the most underrated. Regardless of the hacks and exploits, Helium moves to the Sol network might just work out. It will most certainly increase Helium's scalability and interoperability issues, and thus might just lead to more HNT adoption. At press time, Solana was trading at 31.98 and moving forward over the last 24 hours. Again, I personally think that we're going to still see this down just because the overall market is going down. So when you look at Sol mirrors Bitcoin, right? So we're watching this. If anything, it's showing less strength. So let's, 1 second. Let's look at, then now let's look at Bitcoin real quick. Actually showing a little bit more strength. And the reason why I say that is because the lower lows, I forgot about this though. If you look at the lower lows of Sol here, it does not have lower lows in comparison to Bitcoin, where we did have that sell-off into this area. So if we're coming down into this level, 1 second, Sol. You see here, guys, that we actually held this lower low here. So right here, and then now it's a little bit higher. So it's really interesting to see what's happening here. We still are playing off of that 8-period moving average. So we are finding resistance right here. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays here. With the helium switch, are we going to see more people adopting and buying Sol as well as an ecosystem or not, right? Like that's the key. Are people going to stick still to H&T? So that's another one that I find really interesting as we move forward. That's it in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, let me know. I'm going to go now into Bitcoin here as we move. Let's actually go into the S&P 500 as we're moving. So we are seeing the continuation down from S&P 500 as it follows. We're seeing a drop here. So we are trading off that 15-period moving average, that A as it continues down. See, this is always a little bit difficult, right? I do see us continuing down here into the day, into these lower levels. We'll see what happens with the S&P 500. Let's see what's going on with the 30-minute. Could be following that 30-minute one, so we'll find out what happens here. But really, the reality is you want to look at that daily chart and see where the price predictions that we could see to the market. So this is where we're sitting right here. And then also right in this level, we have a daily zone as well. So this is where we're finding resistance starting to come in. We'll find out if it holds. I don't think it's going to. I think we will see a drop in the market here as it continues down. Obviously, it's not going to cut to it like butter, but we'll see it continue doing what it's been doing here for the last, year so far. It's dropping, right? From lower highs to lower lows, lower highs to lower lows, right? Lower highs, lower lows. So we'll find out if this actually remains, though, right? So let's pull this up here real quick. We can pull up the NASDAQ here real quick. As we're moving forward here, you can sit there and see here that we bounced off this 8-period moving average, and it's starting to continue down. With that, if we sit there and see that this continues down, be ready for a sell-off here at this level of the NQ. Simply because this level here is within this weekly, it might be the monthly. One moment. So this is it right here. So this becomes resistance. What is this one? I think this was something I was like Showing somebody. Here we go. As we see the market sitting right here, this is pretty much where it's where it is. Weekly. Here we go. So it's bouncing off from here to here at our levels. It's looking like it's cutting right through this now. I had a little bit of a push up, but then now it's pushing right through. So you can see the majority of this level has been cut through. So after this moment here, we're definitely seeing the NQ coming back down now at the 11,179 area as we continue down. We'll see that, this kind of ping pong effect as we push down, and you can sit there and gauge, how many times it's falling, right? So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, stop, 1, 2. So maybe every 3 days, 4 days, you'll have a retracement drop, 1, 2, 3, push up, right? 1, 2, 3. I'm talking about maybe every 3 days, you'll see it maybe rally back up and then sell off even more, or even have a couple days of it going up and then selling off even more. So, yeah, be ready for that, guys. These are some higher time frame resistance levels. You have that weekly right here, as well as the monthly 50 sitting right here. So, be ready for those price movements to actually stop. My biggest level right here, though, it's because of the 50 period moving average. You have that monthly zone sitting right here. I don't see us getting through this area anytime easily. I just don't see it getting, but I do see us maybe sitting here a little bit and then playing and then dropping. So we'll see what happens at that level. Let's go ahead and pull out Bitcoin here. Like I said, Bitcoin again is coming down to our lower level here. It is finding resistance up at these levels here of the daily and weekly 8 moving averages as we keep selling off against them. So be following that. Be paying attention to this lower level here, though, because we could see another drop into this area. Let's pull up this point here real quick. Let's see if we're seeing any real buyers coming in, right? And truth is, we're not. But nor are we seeing much of a seller stepping in. So, well, I think what they're going to do is come to a higher time frame supply. Here's an area of higher time frame moving averages and seeing it, and that's in this area here, 1999, and then a sell-off even further. We are ping-ponging off that 4-hour moving average sitting in this level here. Until we break that, we'll need to get into a higher time frame. So probably come back up to our level here of the 19. What is that? 19 here. Let me pull this up here real quick. Three. The 19.3 area here. Three area here, guys, is something that I would definitely be looking to catch right in this level here. Be ready. Real interesting to see how this plays. Yeah, this is where I'm looking. So if we come back, test this again, they're going to stop out all these people up here and then drop it back down. So I can see them doing that. And they're not giving any real indication of what they want to do here at the open. We are on Thursday, and I don't believe we have any real news until next week again. So we'll find out what happens. But I do think that they'll probably push it back up, stop out a bunch of people, and then drop it back down to these lower levels. Because we are starting to show some. But even then, look, there's no real sellers here, or there's no real buyers or sellers. So we don't really have a real directional pull at these levels. So we'll see what happens here. Anyways, so that's it in a nutshell. That's Bitcoin. Let's check out Ethereum. Ethereum is finding support on the 8-period moving average. Could see a turnaround here off of that 200-period moving average on the daily, or excuse me, on the 5-minute. Let's check out the 30-minute here. 30-minute is coming up into our 8-period moving average here as well. So I do see us potentially turning around and coming back down here off that 8-period 30-minute. And you decide they're going to drop it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We definitely have this big seller wick here from the open here. So we'll see. I can't. Like maybe coming back up to the 1200 mark again, retesting that, testing that 8, and then sell off as well. You can see that. Let's check out the BNB. BNB's mark here is that it is going sideways. Like I said, I'm more bullish on BNB just simply because it feels like a stronger coin. It did put in a lower high here as well, or excuse me, a lower low here as well. And we are coming and we are tapping that 8-period moving average. So we'll see if it's able to push through this resistance and start to pull up higher. We do have higher time frame 20-period moving average on that weekly. So be ready for this baby to turn around, and if this does come back and retest that, because it will come back, touch it, and then flip it around. We do have previous demand that has now become supply. All right, guys, yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, that's it in a nutshell. Everything else is pretty much looking the same. I'll run through it real quick so we can just check it out. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same as we see. XRP. We were going over XRP today. Go over it again real quick. XRP is XYO, pardon me. XRP. They are showing some strength here with potential the court case. With the potential court case looming, being done, we might see a big bullish run. So we'll see what happens there. The 8-period moving average. We have the 8-period monthly average moving right here as well. We have that 50-period moving average playing here. So it won't get through here lightly, but if it does, first of all, it's not going to get through that lightly. I'm almost positive there's probably some form of a daily or weekly zone up here as well. Yeah. So yeah, these are real because of the zones where they're sitting at. You need to acknowledge where these are at, because this will move the market, and you need to be paying attention to that. So as we move forward, you can sit there and see that maybe this 8-period moving average, this is where it can come up, tap it, and or come in, kind of go through that 8, and then hit the moving average and then sell off. We also have this area here as well. If we see another rally, I want to point out we do not have a demand wick on this day. So that's never a good sign, especially on the daily candle that you always want to at least see some. I mean, you can see the majority of the time. But here's a good example. There is no daily candle on this extended one. So it goes down, put in a higher low, and then rallied up. So we could see a potential drop down into our lower levels here before this rallies higher. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. From XRP, we can pull up ADA, good old Cardano. Our Cardano again playing off of that 8-period moving average. It did hit our demand zone on that daily, and so we'll see if this does hold. This was previous support, which now has come resistance. So let's put this up here for now. So we'll see if this also becomes another supply area. If the next day we see it continue down and then come back up, this will act as another resistant level area as well. Let's go ahead and go back into, we did Solana. Let's check out DOT here for a moment. I'm pretty sure DOT's going to look the same. Shocking. It's the same thing. It's hitting our daily zone here. We'll find out if we continue. We'll tap that 8 and then continue down, or even more or less into this area right here. So this is definitely establishing orders here. So we're definitely seeing this turn around and continue further down. Matic. There we go. Again, looks the same on the daily. We're heading up that higher time frame 8 and 20 period moving average. Pushing up for the day. Let's check out the lower time frames to see if we see any buyer wicks coming in. Not really. We have some down here, but the rest of them are just kind of, they're not. They're a bunch of even ones, so it doesn't make sense for it to actually work. I do see it coming back down into these levels here, guys. Just put in a lower high. Let's move down. Let's go ahead and look at the SHIB. Excuse me, don't mean to yawn in your guys' ear. So, looks the same. Hitting the 8-period moving average. Now we're starting to continue down, and since this area has been traded through a couple times and there's really nothing sitting here, you can see this come down into our lower level here on SHIB, that 927, guys, as we continue going down here. So see what happens, but I'm pretty sure that's what we'll see. Next level, or the next one here is going to be already up. That's it. So the ES and NQ we've already done. So all right, guys, that's in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions, concerns, you guys can always hit me up in the Ninja Lounge and or Moonrock community. I will start doing the morning, I don't know, I might call it morning wake up, trading overview or something like that. We'll find out what happens. All right, guys, I will talk to you guys soon. Many blessings, and I will talk to you soon. Until then, stay safe, stay strong, and many blessings.